Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Health Minister responds to fresh concerns about overcrowding at Children's Hospital. St. Catherine residents stage protest over poor road conditions. And later in sports, reggae girls coach blames inexperience for latest results. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has responded to fresh concerns about overcrowding at the Bustamante Hospital. The concerns were published in a Gleaner article in the wake of a spike in patients. According to the Gleaner article, several angry parents voiced concerns about a breakdown at the Bustamante Hospital for Children in St. Andrew on Sunday. Parents who showed up at the facility complained about the long wait times and staff shortage. But Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says this was expected.
There is a period now that we're experiencing involving dengue, involving upper respiratory ailments, the flu season, some would refer to it as, which will see more than usual cases, and also COVID, by the way, which will see more than usual cases. It is something we have said repeatedly. The advisors go out weekly to say the same. So persons should expect delays, and to the extent that they can go to their health center to see a doctor or to their private physician to the extent that they can afford it. But of course, we will not refuse anyone, and there is a triage process that deals with emergency cases.
While acknowledging the issues at the facility, he says the staff shortage is not new.
But what the institution has been able to do, its management and its staff, is to make do with who they have and to share some of that burden with the University Hospital of the West Indies. The same for beds. Whenever we have an overcrowding with beds, there is an overflow arrangement that takes place between Bustamante and the University Hospital, where children up to 12 will be not charged, or their parents won't be charged once that overflow takes place, is in effect. And so, again, I will not deny a challenge because we have said it. I am not prepared to say it's a crisis.
Dr. Tufton says there have been discussions about the long overdue expansion of the hospital.
I was there last week, Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, one of those days, and we spoke about the plans for expansion and that we will literally double capacity with the Western Children's Hospital, which is coming on stream in the west, which will then ease some of that burden. So something is being done in the medium to longer term.
The St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital says it is prepared to treat an influx of persons with dengue-related symptoms. This amid reports of a surge in dengue cases. Karen Simpson reports.
Since the Health Ministry declared a dengue outbreak earlier this year, more than 300 persons with dengue-related symptoms have passed through the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital in St. Anne. Of that number, at least 37 were admitted to the facility. This includes children and adults.
Now, for St. Anne's Bay, I believe we are doing much better than many of our other counterparts. Our numbers have been low. And I think part of this is due to the work that the primary healthcare division has been carrying out in our communities, as well as the education that we have been doing. We have also increased education on the hospital compounds to patients in the outpatients department. And we have also been educating our staff members so that we can educate the communities that we live and work in.
Chief Executive Officer Dennis Morgan says while the hospital is always in need of more resources, the staff has learned to manage the little they have.
There's some impact, but I would say it is minute to some extent, but it's not where we could say, because of dengue cases, we can't deal with X, Y, B, C, and D. We have been managing well. Again, COVID would have taught us a lot of how to manage these things. And before COVID was Zika and all the other outbreaks, and we have come through those with lessons learned.
Mr. Johnson is urging persons visiting the facility for treatment to exercise patience, as priority will be given to emergency cases.
The worst word to use to an individual is the word wait. So once you ask them to wait, it's like you're using a bad word. And so for some persons, the word wait triggers them off. And once they have to wait within the system to be served or to get an answer for a doctor or nurse to speak with them, then they become disgruntled. Once they feel that their need is not met, then they feel that we are not treating them well. And so what you find out is that the 5% who would have had that experience are the ones who complain, are the ones who post it.
Carrie Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
And Mr. Morgan is appealing to family members not to leave their relatives in the care of the hospital. He says the hospital will continue to work with government agencies to deal with this issue of social cases.
In terms of placing those cases that can't be returned home for one reason or the other, or don't have a home to go to. And so again, a part of our holistic approach. We also plan where we can discharge of some of these social cases, and so again the whole planning process, and we are very keen to ensure that those persons who would have been our potential long-term patients, we are very keen to having them move to locations, whether it's back at home or in other setting, that is suitable for their condition.
The Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce says it will be keeping a close watch on the progress of the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton estimates the renovation will be completed in 30 months, although there have been multiple missed deadlines over the past few years.
There are many who have expressed to us as a chamber their great concern regarding the prolonged delay in the completion of that Type A hospital. The business community and the people of Western Jamaica have long awaited the completion of this vital healthcare facility. Our residents deserve access to world-class medical amenities, and it is our duty as a business advocate group to ensure that this well-needed facility becomes a reality.
And President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, Oral Heaven, is calling for specific legislation to help fight crime.
As a united business advocate group, we're collaborating with the chambers of commerce across the island. And we reiterate our call last week through a letter to the Prime Minister to enact the Enhanced Security Measures Act, ESMA, providing our law enforcement with tools needed to combat crime effectively, and at the same time allowing our businesses to operate in a safe and productive environment. Now, the safety and security of our citizens and visitors are paramount to the sustained growth of our local economy. As a business group, of course, we are concerned.
A disgrace. That's how residents in Greendale, St. Catherine are describing the condition of the roads in their community. The residents staged a protest this morning, calling on the authorities to follow through on promises made over a year ago to fix the roads. O'Shane Masters reports.
Every single road that you drive on in Greendale is atrocious.
Residents of Greendale describing the deplorable state of their roads and the long list of issues it causes. Not only is the situation posing a threat to motorists, but pedestrians are also at risk.
Because of the craters that are in the road, on a pothole, we have craters. I stumbled in one of them and went flat out on my chest, straight down on my chest. Couldn't even break my fall, right? Ended up with fractured ribs. I have the medical certificate. If you want to see it, I have it at my house. I can show you the evidence that I cracked my ribs walking on these roads.
TVJ News was also informed that the roads have led to the community becoming a den for criminal activities.
People start getting robbed in Greendale, right? And then the water is in the road and people are coming home from work at certain hours of the night and they lay wait them.
They also fear that the condition of the roads is reducing their property value.
This is all I have to leave for my children, right? And it is a disgrace, the roads that are in here. It affects our property value, and it is being turned into a slum because of the condition of the roads.
Councillor for the Greendale Division and Mayor of Spanish Town Norman Scott has come under heavy criticism from the residents as they say over a year ago he promised to fix the roads. But to date,
nothing done. All promises. Mr. Scott have us in Greendale like an idiot. All promises.
Councillor Scott commented on the issue.
I want to fix some of the roads, but the fact is, there is no funds to do such. As much as I'm the mayor, I can't unilaterally use the resources that comes to the council to do repairs in my division.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More local stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Two fishermen who were missing at sea in St. Elizabeth have been found alive. It's reported that the men left for sea on Sunday, November 21 for 5 days. But after they missed the return date, a report was made to the police. A search was launched.
At sea, they were found several miles out and they returned safely thanks to the assistance of the JDF. I want to use this opportunity, though, to speak to our fisher folk. This parish has a number of persons, particularly along the coast, right along here, straight back to Pedro and surrounding areas. To remember to ensure they have sufficient fuel going out at sea, to use not only a compass, but a GPS when they're going out, and to ensure that they have life vests when they are going out at sea. This incident ended incident-free. The men were recovered alive, and we are again grateful to the support of the JDF for this.
Opposition spokesman on education, Damien Crawford, is again criticizing the government's crime strategy, suggesting it is fundamentally flawed. Addressing party supporters in East Portland on the weekend, Mr. Crawford says increasing the severity of the punishment alone will not stop crime. He says this must be backed by surety and swiftness.
Punishment. The first S is the surety of punishment. Most people who do a crime in Jamaica don't get caught. There is no surety. The second is the swiftness of punishment. Meaning when you do a crime, by next week you forget catch. Most of them are not caught. So when a government is focused on the severity and not on the surety nor the swiftness, he is not building an ark when there is a flood coming.
Mr. Crawford is also critical of the government's LIFT program.
17 and 23. So 17 and 3, 20, and then 3 more make 23, that's 6 years. We have 35,000 picnic each year. So 6 3 is 18 and 6 5 is 30, that's 210,000. Of the 210,000, they will give 500. So 500 get, and 209,500 left. So 500 left and 200,000 left.
It's time for the Business Minute.
The Cayman Islands government is moving to have regulations to govern cryptocurrency by 2027. The country is among 47 other countries, UK territories, and Crown dependencies committing to the move. This latest development follows the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development introducing its new crypto asset reporting framework earlier this year. The tax transparency standard allows for the automatic exchange of information between tax authorities on crypto exchanges in order to combat offshore tax avoidance and evasion. The commitment will allow them to keep pace with the rapid development and growth of the crypto asset market. Further afield, 50 major oil and gas companies have pledged to dramatically cut their methane emissions by the end of the decade. The announcement was made at the COP28 Climate Change Conference in Dubai. Among the companies that announced they will reduce their methane emissions by around 80 to 90% include ExxonMobil and Saudi Arabia's Aramco. That comes as the Joe Biden administration also announced that it has finalized the rule to slash methane emissions by nearly 80% through 2038. The rule will be implemented by the Environmental Protection Agency, and it will crack down on methane leaks. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Venezuelans voted by a wide margin yesterday to approve the creation of a new state in the oil-rich Essequibo region. This after the country rejected the International Court of Justice's ruling in favor of Guyana in the ongoing dispute. More than 75% approved establishing the new state. It's unclear what steps the Venezuelan government would take to follow through on the result. On the international scene, 11 hikers have died and another dozen are missing in Indonesia following the eruption of the highly active Mount Merapi volcano in the province of West Sumatra. Over 75 people had to be evacuated and several injured persons hospitalized. Rescue teams continue to search for the missing persons. And the Dallas Police Department in Texas, United States, is investigating a mass shooting yesterday that left 4 people dead, including a 1-year-old boy. A 15-year-old girl was injured in the attack. No motive has been established. However, police say a neighbor of the victims is a suspect in the shooting. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, Jordan Fort will have your midday sports report. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.